So I think today I just want to take you through the last year, the projects that we were busy with, and what we can look forward to for the years to come. So I think the biggest highlight of the year, as mentioned yesterday, was meeting with the Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, coming to see us about debt review, how we deal with a contingency within debt review, and what the United Nations can learn from us to take forward into the world. So that was a great honor. Also in Leader X, that was in Sandton in September, where we got the opportunity to do some lectures to consumers. That was a great honor. And we hope that there would be many such events going forward. The Queen said she will be back at the G20. So we're looking forward to another great engagement there. So going forward, or looking backwards, there's three things that really stand out, taller than everything else. And the first thing is the Task Team Agreement 2.0 that we put together through the Credit Industry Forum. There are 5 work groups, and just a show of hands who are involved in that. So quite a few. Guys, your names are going to go down in debt counseling history for working on this project. So just for you that doesn't know, the Task Team Agreement was signed in 2010, and it was published by the NCR as guidelines in 2015. But a lot of things have happened ever since. A lot of court cases, a lot of circulars and guidelines and changes to the industry, and a lot of new players that came in, like the payday loans. They were not part, or they were not a feature when it was in 2010. And at the instance of DECASA, it was brought forward that we update the Task Team Agreement with whatever happened in the last 15 years. 5 work groups were put together, and it's chaired by industry people. And we've, as at 2 days ago, we've clocked 211 hours, actual hours that we've worked on it. 2 of the annexures are finished, well, almost finished, and the other 3 are very large, one of which is DCRS, and one of which is the affordability calculations and necessary expenses and so on. So we wanted to finish by the end of this year, but we're probably looking at February. There's a lot of meetings going on. I'm copied into everything, and there's some really, really good work. I think it's going to solve quite a bit of our current problems, especially the small niggly ones. And we're really looking forward to get that collated. Obviously, after the subcommittee has done their work, or the work groups has done their work, then the subcommittee needs to go through them and see, is this something that we can publish, and does it add value? So really looking forward to that. That is really going to be interesting to put that together. Then the Reckless Lending Subcommittee, there was big delays because of discussions between the legal unit at the regulator versus the consensual paper that was put forward by the subcommittee. That has been resolved, and we are looking at publishing it very, very soon, imminently. So that was great work. Thank you for everybody that was part of that. Then the ADRA subcommittee, very combative, and I don't mean it in a negative way, as to what the alternative dispute resolution agents can do and what they cannot do in terms of the definitions of the Act. The lines are a bit blurred, and the subcommittee just wants to paint the lines properly. So once we got that out the way, we would know exactly what the functions are of an ADRA and how that, if any, overlaps with the work that you guys are doing. So it's very important. I heard that I was going to be asked to come back as a chair to that from Credit Provider Compliance. So we'll see if I'm going to be chairing that. And what is the final subcommittee? So for you guys that were here yesterday, robust discussions as to the DC fee review subcommittee. You know what, we got to the maturity within the industry that we can talk the difficult talks and ask the difficult questions. I think that that's where we want to be. We want to have the difficult discussions. We want to find solutions to large problems. And the only way we're going to do that is if we talk about it. You know, I was just saying to a colleague just now, you know, if you go back 8 years ago, you wouldn't have the DTIC here. You wouldn't have the NCR here. You wouldn't have the Ombudsman here. You won't have the NCT here. You know, so we've really grown. We've really pulled everyone in, you know, that are role players. And they all bring great value, not only to these events, but to the everyday work that we are all doing, even myself. And I'll give you an example just now. And I think going forward, there is a few turbulent issues that we need to tackle. The first one would be, pops into my mind, the electronic signatures. Thank you to the tribunal that gave us a wonderful judgment, the PECO judgment in October last year, whereby it sets the guidelines for the use of electronic signatures. And we have taken that to heart at the NCR, and we're going to be publishing guidelines with regards to the use of the signatures, where they can be used, where they cannot be used, and how they should be used. So that's going to take a lot of the elements away. As you know, they take the signature that was given to pull your credit bureau report, and they copy and paste that right through on insurance documents, the Form 16s, power of attorneys, and other things that I can't even remember. So that is a big problem. We need to deal with that. And that goes directly to the heart of debt review without consent. That's the first thing. Then the second one is something that we are launching next month. The clearance certificates and the paid-up letters. Fraud with regards to that is huge, much larger than you think. And the Credit Bureau Association, in association with us, developed a platform that you will be using from now on, whereby you load in your clearance certificate and the paid-up letters. It then goes through a process, and there's going to be a whole set of webinars that's going to go through for you to be trained on this. And there's a verification that would then run on those paid-up letters and on the clearance certificate to see if everything is above board. If it's not, it will provide a notification to the National Credit Regulator as to the fraudulent activity, and we will be proceeding with criminal charges against any debt counsellor that is trying to commit fraud on this platform. And I think that that's going to be an overarching theme that you're going to be seeing going forward. We had a strategy session with our EXCO, and it was indicated to us that any element of fraud or theft that is found and can be proven must be followed by criminal action from the NPA. So we will be actively pursuing it from the week after next, whereby we're going to start in Johannesburg, myself and the manager of the investigation and enforcement departments, to see what evidence we have in our office as to fraud and theft, and we're going to start in Johannesburg to lay those criminal charges. So let's see where that goes. It's uncharted, so let's see the impact that has. I think it's going to have a massive impact on our industry. And, you know, the general theme yesterday was, you know, let's get rid of the bad elements. So, yeah, you received the circular to update your contact details on DHS. If you have not done that, you will not be onboarded onto this platform. So please go look. If you have not done that, go look for that circular, go update your details. I've I painted pictures for you how you do that. So get that updated. We will then run a set of webinars, 3 of them. You have to be on them, because if you're not, you won't be able to issue a clearance certificate. Okay, so please be part of it. If you can't make it, let us know, and we can maybe put a separate session together for the guys that couldn't make it. Make sure you are updated, guys, otherwise you're not going to get in there. That would then be followed by a guideline for the use and for the consequences of the use. We are going to be open and honest as to what the codes mean and what will happen if certain of the codes come back, so that everybody knows where they stand with regards to this. Then guidelines and circulars. These ones are becoming more difficult to issue because the issues that we are dealing with are complex. The first one was earlier in the year, the debit order cancellations. You would know that it's the exact wording as was in the task team agreements, but as I mentioned, the payday loans was not a feature in our industry in 2010. It's become a feature, a large feature now. And the credit providers with regards to that had some sort of an idea that because if it's less than 30 days, it's not a credit agreement. And therefore, they don't find themselves applicable to the task team or anything else. So it was really issued almost word for word as the task team agreement, but just to include the payday loans. To tell the payday loan guys, listen, you need to cancel that debit order and you need to be part of the process. So it was important for that reason. DC advertising practices is a major headache. You would know from the Act that there are regulations regarding credit provider advertising, but there's not surrounding debt counselling advertising. So we will be addressing that in the conditions of registration and the code of conduct, but until such time as we can get that through, because that's a major process, as you can imagine, Louise issued the DC advertising circular, very specifically for social media use. So where you have a social media post where someone says, get 80% off your repayments or get your debt written off, copy and paste that circular in the comments. And to show the consumers that are on that platform that, guys, this is not allowed. Be very careful because you are going to be disappointed. So that was a big part of it. The section 126A3 was the start of getting rid of these elements of debt review without consent, which we all know is a huge problem, and there's some other developments there as well. And that set the stage also to be used on social media platforms, and for us to start doing compliance action against these companies which are taking money up front, which is prohibited conduct in terms of the Act, and then don't do any work. They think that just because they update DHS with status F2 that everything is gone now. So we want to get rid of that, and that's going to be really a focus area of where we are. Then the DC information update, which we just spoke about, please, guys, go and update on DHS. It's very, very important. And then the normal ones that we send out for deregistrations of debt counsellors, which was last year's round was all about fraudulent paid-up letters of debt counsellors that got deregistered. So let me just see what the next one is. Oh yes, very, very exciting things that are happening with the other regulators. We concluded 2 investigations, one on lead sellers and lead generators. We got great support of the debt counsellors that we investigated for that, and received a mass amount of information, documents, and the like, which shows prohibited conduct under POPI. We've met with the information regulator. They are seeing this as a low-hanging fruit because of the amount of information that we gave them. And we are now collaborating with them after the Memorandum of Understanding is signed for them to go and investigate that for us and close those lead sellers down. So very important. And then the FSCA, we met with them as well, a great team there at the FSCA, with regards to the issues of the insurance that we found, where replacement insurance are not cancelled or the previous one is not cancelled. where there's imbalance problems because of it, where documents are signed by consumers through electronic signatures, where they've never seen the document. So FSCA, we've already have a memorandum of understanding with them since 2018, and they are happy to take that on also as a low-hanging fruit. So that was really a great win for us, because these things fall outside our jurisdictions. We see that it is a problem, but you know, our hands are tied. So our hands has now become untied. Okay, yeah, this is the platform, the Credit Bureau Association platform for the paid up letters and the clearance certificates, which you will then be integrated into your systems, and it's been tested by the big guys. They've tested it now for months. We've got our last penetration test on the 30th of October, and then we are going to rock and roll with this. This is going to be very, very exciting. Yeah, we've touched a bit on this. The direct referrals to the NCT, we are working on that. That would cut our investigation times down from 6 months to 6 weeks, with very little budgetary influence on us. So we are trying to design, you know, a process that are faster and that are cheaper, and that's the theme of today. You know, let's get things done faster. Let's get things done better. We discussed the electronic signatures. If you can go to the next one. Thank you. Thank you.